Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Marilyn Darling Show. How is everyone doing today? Are you having a nice day? I hope you're having a nice day wherever you are in the world. Today we are continuing our calligraphy class. From earlier, I was really not feeling well. And I think it was because I needed some food. All right. So, where did we leave off? All right, so we did leave off at the upstroke. By the way, I'm feeling much better, thank you. I'm not quite as crazy feeling as I was before. I had to take a nap. I think maybe I don't know what happened. All I know is I woke up with a headache. And then just now I went and ate, and now I feel 100% again. So, who knew food could fix you that fast? Anyway, so let's continue on with our lesson from earlier today. I have good news. I got a new patron, so thank you so much, Monica. It really means a lot to me to be a patron. Spending your hard-earned pennies to hang out with me means a lot. So where exactly did we leave off? We talked about I don't know what I talked about. I swear I had the papers I was just using here. Okay, here we go. So, in the beginning we did a little play. We had a little scribble. Got a little comfortable with our pen. Okay. And then we started going over some terms. We did x height. What did I do with the paper with that information on it? Oh, here it is. Duh. Okay. So. Okay. Learned about the X height and the upstroke and the hard downstroke and the overturn and the underturn and the compound curve, ascending stem loop, descending stem loop, and the oval. And then we did the K, the C, the E, the F, the R, the S, the Z, and the descending Z. And then the harder strokes are the connecting half compound curve, the double underturn, the double overturn, the reverse compound curve, the L to Y, and the R to Y. And then we started learning about, we started doing some practice of the basic strokes. So we did the upstroke, and then we did the overturn, and then if we drop 2 down, we're going to drop 2 down, mark off our X height, because that's where the middle of the X height would be, so this would be our X height. Okay, and now we're going to do the underturn. So we're going to practice the underturn. We're going to come down 55, curve around, and then curve right back up on that 55-degree line. Okay, so we're going to come. So there's 3 points: the quarter X height, the base line, and the quarter height. So we have to come down, hit that quarter, start curving in, hit the baseline, start curving up, hit that corner, and then make a straight line up. And it should happen in a relative succession like this. Okay, can we all see what I'm doing? Try and angle you just a little bit so you can see what's going on. So I'm going to come down, curve around, and then come right back up. So, come down, start at the X height, come down, hit the baseline, come right back up. Start at the X height, come down, hit the baseline, come right back up. We're basically making a glorified U. Okay. Straighten you out so you can kind of see what I'm doing here. Underturn. Underturn. And once you get the training wheels to do all of the basic strokes, what you'll do is you'll just do a whole page of upstrokes. And then you'll do a whole page of overturns. And then a whole page of underturns. Overturns, underturns, compound curve, so on and so forth. Underturn. Now see how it didn't come up all the way? You want to put a little X above that one. Don't go back. There's no going back. Don't erase. Because you want to make sure that you can see the improvement over time. Okay? Do many, 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 many underturns, and eventually you will come up with the perfect underturn. Okay? This is just done with a pencil. It's a monoline-ish. We will get into putting pressures and relieving pressures probably tomorrow or the next day. So then we're gonna do the compound curve. Drop 2 down, mark off your X height. So when we do the compound curve, it's basically a giant kind of a wavy line. We're gonna come up, we're gonna hit the X height, we're gonna curve down, we're gonna have a very small space in between where the quarter height is, where we're going to be straight, and then we're going to curve again, and we're going to come right back up. So if, say that this line from here to here was about from here to, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll make it 4, and we'll call this our X height, right? So you'll come up, around, down, and then back up. And the reason that we have the guidelines here is because you'll come up on the guideline, curve around, down, and then curve right back up on the guideline. And you'll just do a whole bunch of these. Up, curve around, come down, curve around, and come back up. Sorry, my camera's being stupid right now. Okay. Trying to make it see what I can see, but it's being uncooperative. Okay, so I'm trying not to boink my head with it. So I'm going to come start at the baseline, come up to the X height, curve around, come back down, curve around, come right back up. So we're basically making this type of a shape, but we're filling it in. Little curve here, little curve there, little curve there, little curve there. An overturn into an underturn. And all of this will make sense once we start making words or letters. And you will do a whole line of these. Okay. The next bit that we're going to do is the ascending stem loop. So, drop 2 down. This is your X height. This is your baseline. This is your X height. This is your full ascending height. So, this whole thing is within this little line here. And it takes kind of a finesse to these things. So, you're going to start, instead of starting at the baseline or the X height, we're going to start right at the X height and we're going to go in an anti-clockwise motion. We're going to come up. We're going to graze this line. We're going to come up. We're going to hit the second ascender, and then we're going to make a straight line down to the baseline. So we're making like a balloon shape. But we got to go from here to here to here to here. So we got to go up, hit that mark, and then straight down as straight as possible. So should look like that. Hi Butterbean Head, how are you? Are you having a nice day? And this is just monoline. We're just doing a couple of monoline practices. Up, over, around, and down. Up, over, around, and down. Up, over, around, and down. And you want to try and make these look the same all the way across. See, this one kind of looks bad, so I'm going to mark it with a little X. Up, over, around, and down. Up, over, around, and down. And you don't want them to be too big. You don't want them to come up and over like this. It's too big. You want it to be right within that little window. So you want to make it just slightly on the other side of that parallelogram. Hi Ricky Thomas, how are you doing today? Why not use a fountain pen? You can use a fountain pen if you have a fountain pen, but we're gonna go into that later. Today we're using a pencil. So, come over, up, around, and down. Up, over, around, and down. So, after you've done a whole line of that, then we're going to do some descending stem loops. So we're going to drop 2 down, mark off our X height. So this is your baseline, this is your X height, this is your first ascender and second ascender. So this would be your first descender and second descender. Now we'll get into why we're going to need those in a little bit. So what we're going to do is we're going to start like we did the ascending stem loop. We're going to start at the X height, and we're going to come down, around, and up. So we're basically making a reverse balloon. So you got 3 points to hit. This point, and this point. Okay? So this would be the first descender and the second descender. So you're going to come from the X height through the baseline, just right at the first ascender, start looping in, hit the second descender, up to the first descender, and then straight like you're going towards this point here. So, this would be our mark, come down, curve in, out, and right like you're going towards this. That if it were to go through, that's what it would look like. So you want it to come down, around, and stop right at that line. Don't go past it. Try not to do that. Don't flick. No flicking. Okay? Once we get to a certain point, we will get into stylizing, and that will help you. I don't want to freak anyone out. I will be right back. 2 shakes. That's better. I bit my finger and I had a boo-boo. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna do a whole row of these descending stem loops. Gonna come round, hit each of those points, and come right back up. Down, hit those points, come right back up. Down, hit those points, come right back up. When we get into stylizing, we will take this descending stem loop and we will do all kinds of fun things with it. Hi, Carlos, how are you doing today? So we're going to start at the X height, through the baseline. First descender, start coming in, hit the second descending stem light, come back up to the quarter, and up to the baseline. X height, baseline, first, second, first, baseline. X height, baseline, first, second, first, baseline. X, baseline, first, second, first, baseline. Cool? Now, when you do this, you're not going to be good at it. I don't know anybody who is. So, just take everything that you do right now as a learning experience. It's okay to mess up. If you need to like have a moment, you could just do that to it. Sometimes I get frustrated. And I will show you exactly what happens. I hope my friend doesn't get too mad at me for showing this, but sometimes I will start a letter and I will not know where the hell I'm going, or sometimes I will forget what word comes next, and then I will scrap the entire piece and just start rambly doing things. Or sometimes I will get right to the end, and will get right to where I need to be, and then I will completely go off the rails. So, it is okay to scribble on your paper. Okay? Not everything is going to turn out like this. You're gonna have a bad time. It's okay. And this paper ain't cheap. This laid paper ain't cheap. I'm just saying. Okay, the next one that we're going to do is we're going to do the reverse descending stem loop. So we're going to mark off our X height. And we're going to come down and we're going to do the opposite way. So we're going to come from the X height to the baseline, to the first descender, to the second descender, to the first descender, and back up. So we're going to go like we're going to this square. So we're going to I scribbled and it made my pen do weird things. Okay, so we're going to come down, hit the X height, first descender, second descender, first descender, and then right back up. So, baseline, X height, baseline, first, second, first, up. First, second, first. X, base, first, second, first. Base, first, second, base. X, base, first, second, first, base. X, base, first, second, first, base. You don't have to do these very fast. Just take your time. Just go real slow like. If you want it to look nice, you'll go real slow. None of this. That's no. Okay? And make sure that when you come down and you curve around, that you don't go past. Okay, that's no. Alright. Let's put our pen down for a little second. Do a little stretchy stretch with our fingers. Get our fingers moving. Have a little stretch. Big stretch. That's what it needed. Maybe stand up, do a twirly whirly. Alright. Then we're going to sit down and continue. We're going to do one or two more of these reverse descending stem loops. Alright. Now, just to recap, we've done the upstroke, the overturn, the underturn, the compound curve, ascending stem loop, the descending stem loop, and the reverse descending stem loop. Why do we have two different stem loops? Well, we'll get to that another day. Last but not least, for this set, we're going to do the oval. The oval, an oval is twice the height of its width. So if you have a width that is this big, 1, 2, 3, 4, it should be twice as high as it is wide. So this is not an oval. This is not an oval. This is an oval. Okay. So we're going to start at the first quarter right here on the side. If it were to be, you're going to 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to start at the middle of the oval on the right side. Why do we start on that side? We'll get into that. another day. So we're going to start on the right side. We're going to come up. We're going to curve in. We're going to touch the X height. We're going to curve back down. Quarter height. And then we're going to curve back down in. Touch the baseline. And then curve back up to the quarter height. Should look like this. Okay. So you're going to start in the middle, come up, touch the X height, touch the baseline, then come right back up. And you could even skip a couple of squares if you don't have time. All of this practice should take no more than 5 minutes a day. If it takes more than 5 minutes a day, maybe you're doing too many. You can do hours and hours and hours and hours of the stuff, but if you're making the same mistakes over and over and over again, you're not really helping. And the best way to get your lettering the way that you want it to look is for you to do it your way. If you want to make yours, Alexa, stop. If you want to make yours just a little bit rounder, that's okay. If you want to make yours just a little bit pointier, that's okay. As long as you have the basic shapes. Now, see, I went just a little too far there, so I'm going to give myself a little X. And then I want you to look through this entire bit of all of the ones that you've done, and I want to give yourself a little check mark at the ones that you think look the best. This one I think looks really good. I also think that this one looks good, and that one looks good. All of the rest of them are just kind of eh. And for example, this one looks really good, and this one looks kind of good, and this one looks kind of good. All the rest of them are eh. And you can kind of see which ones look the best. So, this one looks good. This one looks good. And like, if you go below the baseline, you know, you want to make sure and make a note of that, so that way that you can make a mental note. Hey, I messed up there. That's okay. You're allowed to mess up. And you want to make sure that when you're doing your compound curves, that the insides of these spaces are the same size. So this one's a little thinner, and this one's a little thicker. So I'm going to give that one a little X. This one's a little thicker, and this one's a little thinner. We'll give that one a little X. So this one is almost right, but the shape is off. This one is looking This one is looking pretty good. So this one is a check mark. So you just want to kind of go and choose the good ones and the bad ones. This one was a bad one. This one was a bad one. This one looks pretty good. This one looks pretty good, actually. So just kind of take note of the best ones of those bunches, and then try and remember that that is the standard. So this one was good. This one was not great. That one was not great. This one was not great. This one looked okay. This one looked okay. And then this one was kind of wonky at the bottom. So kind of give yourself a little grading card and see how you did. This one was good. This one was okay. This one was a no. That one was a no. No, no, no. And then these ones were eh. See, let's see. Ovals, this one was probably the best. And then this one's like creeping on the best right here. So those are kind of close. Alright. How am I doing? 36 minutes. Has anybody had enough of me yet? Want me to keep going? Or shall we retire for another day? I think I will do one more. We're going to do the reverse compound curve. So we're going to skip 2 down. And instead of starting at the baseline like we started this one, we're going to start at the x height. We're going to start at the x height. We're going to come here, 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 and here. So we're going to come down, hit the baseline, curve back up, hit the x height, and curve back down. So it's exactly the opposite of the compound curve because it's the reverse compound curve. We come down, curve up, curve down. And the spaces in here should be equal to each other. So that one definitely, I like that one the best so far. So down, up, and down. I missed the baseline there, so that one gets a little. So I'm going to come down, hit the baseline, come back up, hit the x height, and come back down. The shape was weird here, so it's a little x. Down, up. And go slow. This is not a race. Anybody who's like doing like a timed test on these things, or you got a metronome, nobody needs that. There's no need for that. So down, hit the baseline, up, curve, hit x height, down, hit the baseline. Kind of missed the corner there. So you want your corners. Where is it? So 1, 2, 3, 4. So you want to come down. When you get to the quarter, start curving in. These are kind of divided up into 2 sections. Curve up. Go through that middle bit. Curve in. Hit that middle bit and come right back down. So it should look like an underturn and an overturn. So underturn, overturn. If you say it to yourself, you'll find it much easier to understand how it's supposed to look. Underturn, overturn. Underturn, overturn. Okay? Let's see, what do we got? Alright, how are we doing? 33 minutes. A couple more minutes. Let's do another one, shall we? This is let's start with an easy one. We'll do C. So the C starts like the oval, starts in the middle of the x height, the 1/4 height, comes just like the oval up to the x height, hit the corner, come down, and instead of coming back up, we're going to spiral out into an upstroke. So it looks like a spiral. That's because it is a spiral. We're going to come up, hit this bit, and out. So we're basically hitting here, 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 and here. Come up, over, around, and out. Up, around, out. Up, around, out. Up, See that one? I overshot the upstroke a little bit. Alright, let's go on to another one, shall we? Let's turn the page or go to a new sheet of paper. How's everyone doing? Are we learning things? Okay. Uh-oh. Did I not push? Oh. I didn't press go. Oh dear. Okay, so hopefully people are seeing the Patreon. Alright, so the next one we're going to do is the E stroke. So this is the second ascender, first ascender, the X height, quarter ascender. So I'm going to come in at the quarter X height, and we're going to go from the middle. We're going to go... So, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. So, we're gonna come from... Sorry about this. So our lines go like this. We're going to come from our X height. This is our X height. We're going to come from the X height. No, I'm sorry. We're going to come from the... Dang it. We're going to come from the quarter of the X height. We're going to come around, up, and we're going to make a C. So it's going to look like this. We're going to come up, make a loop, and then a C. As you notice, we'll hit here, 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 back to here, 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 and here. So we'll come out, make a loop, and then spiral out. Loop, 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 spiral out. Okay? Should have a whole bunch of different E's, and they should each start on that quarter height. Alright, so let me see. This one was pretty good. This one was pretty good. If you have a little bit of angle in there, that's okay. But if you make it too small, it looks wonky. So don't do that. And don't make it too big either. This is if you want it to be just right. And you'll, after a little bit of practice, you'll figure out that that's how it's supposed to be. Okay, let's drop 2 down. How am I doing on time? 40 minutes. Is there anyone tired of me yet? Alright, let's do the R stroke. R stroke is kind of a strange stroke. So we have the X height and the first ascender, second ascender. We're going to come from the first ascender, And we're going to swoop down to the X height. And then we're going to make an underturn. So we're going to swoop to the X height and make an underturn. Swoop, underturn. Swoop, underturn. Swoop, underturn. And as you do these, you will see that your writing will even start to improve. Oh, I missed the baseline on that one. Swoop, underturn. Okay. Now, you don't want to make these like this. Don't do that. And don't do this. Okay, don't go from the second ascender. Don't do that either. Alright, shall we put our pen down? Do a little stretchy stretch. Make sure our limbs are all relaxed and having a nice little wiggle moment. Maybe do a little these. Nice big stretch. Calligraphy is hard work. Anybody who ever said practicing calligraphy was easy, you don't know, but no. Your fingers are going to be tired. Your hand's going to cramp. So, the best advice that I can give to you is try not to stress your hand out too much by doing too many letters at a time. That's half of the reason that I stopped in the middle of that first session. Because sometimes you're just not in the mood. You have to put the pen down and walk away. And that is exactly what I had to do. Because I was not feeling so hot at the moment. And so I had to put my pen down and walk away. Took a nap, had something to eat. But then I came back. And that's important. Come back. Come back to your work, because that's very important too. Okay, let's do a couple more, and then I will let you go for the evening. Let's drop 2 down, mark off our X height. We're going to do the S stroke. So the S stroke, opposite the R stroke, we're going to come at the first ascender. We're going to come in, out, and up. So we're basically making an S shape. So we're going to come out, in, and up. Out, in, and up. Little wiggle. Little wiggle. I always put just a little dot right there at the first ascender, so that way I know that I can scoot over just a little bit. I can come, make a little dot, and then I move over just like 2 millimeters, and then I come around, down, down, and up. So should look something like this. If you turn it sideways, what does it look like? Compound curve, or reverse compound curve. Looks like compound curve, only sideways. So instead of doing it this way, we're going to do it this way. And you always want to make sure that there's just a little tiny triangle right on the inside of this bit right here. A little tiny triangle. Okay. Let's see. So we're gonna come in and then right up. Wiggle and up. Wiggle and up. Okay. We are almost there. Got two little ones to do, and then I think we're gonna call it a night. I think we have just enough time. Okay, so the next one that we're gonna do is the modified overturn, or as I like to call it, the Z-turn. A normal overturn. A normal overturn comes up, over, around, and down, right? But this one is modified because we're going to come up, over, around, down, and in, but we're not going to touch this little leg here. We want to come in just a little bit so it looks like there's a triangle right here. We come up, over, around, and in. Okay? And this is what that will look like. We're going to start at the baseline, come up, hit the X height, hit that first quarter height, and then curve in and just barely into the middle of that space. Up, over, around, and in. 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 Okay? So you want to make sure that there's not too much of a space here, so that's not great. But this one looks pretty good, and this one here looks pretty good. This one I went below the baseline, so that's good to know. This one kind of went below the baseline too, so it gets a no. Alright, so the last one in this series, we're going to learn the modified underturn. Or the modified descending stem loop, sorry. Keep mixing my words. So, in a normal X height, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. Here's our X height. We're going to go in the modified descending stem loop. We have this space here. We're going to come from the baseline past the first descending stem loop to the second descending stem loop, back up to the first descending stem loop, and then back to the baseline. So we're basically making... Oh my god, I'm so sorry, you weren't even seeing that. We're going to come from the baseline down to the second descending stem loop, come up, and we're basically making a teardrop shape. We're going down and up just like that. Okay? Now here we have our X height marked out. We're going to come... So here is our space. We're going to come in the middle of that space. Around and up. In the middle of that space. Around, down, and up. And middle of that space, down and up. Down and up. Okay. Now I don't want anybody doing this. No flicking. So no flicking. Make sure you're not going past the second descender line, because then you're going into the next letter when we get writing words. So do this nice and slow. Just in the middle, just slowly come down, around, and then right back up. Slowly down, around, and back up. Slowly down, around, and back up. Okay? And see, I like this one the best. That one's really good, and this one is also really good. This one was a little off because it didn't put it right in the center. And once you do these two together, you will start to notice the Z coming on. And after you figure out where this one stops, then you can go into your modified descending stem loop. And then from there you can do all kinds of things. Okay, what is next? That's it. That's all I have for today. So, what have we learned today in the total? Let's take a look. We have learned that there is an X height, quarter, X height, first ascender, second ascender, baseline, first descender, second descender. We've learned what an upstroke is, hard downstroke. Have we done the hard downstroke? I don't remember. Somewhere? No, we haven't done the hard downstroke yet. Okay, so we'll learn about the hard downstroke tomorrow. How's that? So we learned about the upstroke, the overturn, the underturn, the compound curve. I'm sorry. Compound curve, reverse compound curve, ascending stem loop, descending stem loop, reverse descending stem loop, C stroke, E stroke, the R stroke, the S stroke, the what else have we learned? Is that it? I feel like we learned more. Gosh, that seems to be it. Upstroke, overturn, underturn, compound curve, reverse compound curve, ascending, descending, reverse, descending, C, E, R, and S. Alright, well, we have learned a lot today. Oh, we did the Z stroke. Okay, the Z stroke and the modified descending stem loop. Wow. I think that is a round of applause. We did the first day of this class. Wow. That's a lot. Tomorrow, we will learn the hard strokes. I know, you're like, these weren't the hard strokes? Yeah, I know. We're going to learn some hard strokes tomorrow. And you're going to be like, oh, the end. The end, woe is me. No, but it'll be fine. So, that's all I have for today. I want to thank you all for watching. Please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ring the little bell. Make sure it's set to all so when I upload new content, YouTube notifies you. And I will be back tomorrow with another video. So, take care until then. Okay, love you, bye. Have a great day. I hope that you guys enjoyed this one. We'll see you tomorrow.